it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Blue Cam, a cleaner running engine for a cleaner environment.
Every summer I take a break from chasing the warm water fish in our inland lakes to head out on the big waters, and I'm talking about the Great Lakes. One of my favorite is to go out on Lake Ontario, but the area is so vast that you got to be prepared to look for fish sometimes 6 or 7 miles out, water as deep as 300 feet. That's where I grab my diving devices, I install my downrigger on the G3, I grab my trolling rods, and I get out there for some fun.
Okay, Italo, we're going to set up the Dipsy diver with the mag ring, so it dives a little deeper. This time of year, the fish are
How deep are we going to go?
This is going to be 180 back on a two and a half setting. Should bring us down about 70 feet.
And how far out?
And 180 back.
Okay, and how far out is the Dipsy going to go?
180 feet back.
Yep. Straight down.
Down 70 feet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So because it's on a 2 setting, so
Gotcha.
you can adjust it to go deeper or shallower,
Yeah, got it.
or off to the side of the boat.
Yeah.
And we got our flasher. This purple.
I like it.
Purple flasher,
Pretty
UV
flashy
color.
flasher.
UV colors have been working really good this year. And then we have our meat head.
Yep. Now you prepared the cut bait, right?
Yes, I prepared the cut bait with a brine. It's got a UV color to it.
Yep.
So we just put the cut bait into the cut bait head.
Yep.
And it fits perfectly. You cut them right in half. They're a small strip, and the strip is green, and it glows. It kind of glows in the dark. It's a UV
I'm surprised
color.
you're not using a longer strip.
Well, the forage fish are a little smaller right now, so that's what they're hitting. And they're, you know, when we clean the fish, we're finding smaller alewife.
That's smart.
So we're matching the hatch kind of thing.
Good. All right.
Fish on, Italo.
Doesn't feel like a big one, but it's nice just for, you know, we've only been trolling for about 15 minutes. You know, it's amazing to me, even a rod this heavy, with the wire line, you feel everything when you're fighting the fish, and this isn't a big fish. Aldo, you're doing great, by the way. I'm gonna probably just unhook this fish right at the back. Now, because we've got the Dipsy diver, I can't really reel in any further, so I'm gonna put the rod down, try to keep the line away from the motor, and I'm gonna bring the fish up close, and just before I release it, I'm gonna lift it up. So there, I just wanna show you, that's a little Chinook, but we're gonna be releasing it. He's hooked really well. Got the long nose pliers, and I'm just gonna shake it off, watch. That fish is gone. For the last 5 decades, Great Lakes anglers have been enjoying awesome tributary fishing, much like the coastal fishing, but on smaller tributaries. That tributary fishing takes place from about the fall, September, October, right through the winter till the next spring. They target the different species of Pacific salmon that have been stocked in the Great Lakes, and of course, steelhead. But during the summer months, between April all the way to September, those fish are roaming the Great Lakes, and they're doing one thing, eating. So if you find the bait fish, it doesn't take long before you get the salmon and trout on. You know, normally 2 guys are okay in the boat, 3's even better, because one person has to drive the boat. We got a little bit of a wind coming offshore, so while I'm keeping my eye on the Raymarine and kind of going on a straight line, because you can't start doing loops when Aldo's rigging. Aldo's the guy that's doing all the rigging, and I'm glad I've got him because he's a professional charter captain, so he's doing rigging literally every day. So right now he just set up the Dipsy rods. He's going to set up the wire. That's the lead core, Aldo?
This is the lead core, yeah. We're going to start with 8 colors. 8 colors, so each color that goes out is 10 yards. For every 10 yards, it sinks approximately 5 feet.
Yep.
So 8 times 5 is approximately 40 feet down.
Yep. You're doing good. Okay, Aldo, keep the rod up. Don't give it slack line.
Thanks, Italo.
Bite it gently.
You sound like me.
How many days this year on the water? Come on. How many days off the water? Maybe I should ask you that question.
Not too many. Well, I mean, we're probably 3 or 4 times a week right now.
It's a good fish.
Yeah, it's a good fish. They've been doing these violent head shakes
I can see that. I can see that. I love that rod's just going
where
like
it's
this.
hard to keep them from getting off. And we get clients that are not too experienced.
Yeah, yeah.
And those head shakes kind of outdo it sometimes. So you always have to keep the line tight.
If you watch Aldo, he's using the big game reel up. Look, he's using his right hand down here close to the rod. 2 hands. It's a nice fish, Aldo.
Yeah, it's got some big head shakes.
He's lifting the rod back, and then he's picking the line on the way down.
Okay,
A little bit
have
closer.
to come back. Ready?
Yep.
You ready? Got it.
It's in the bag. You hold the net. I'm going to grab the fish very carefully underneath the gill plate because we don't want to have it out of the water too long. I'll give you a good look at this. Lake trout. And it is fighting hard. It just burped up some water, which is good. Isn't that a gorgeous fish? Look at that. Aldo, good job. It's got to be in the low teens, 12, 13 pounds.
Yep.
Beautiful laker. Okay, let's get it in the water. He didn't have it out too long. We're going to try to let some water run through the fish's mouth, out its gills. That is a wide lake trout. Beautiful laker. He's almost ready to go. Just going to give you one more look if I can before he takes off. It's kind of hard. But ready? Here it goes. And gone.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Cable's Eyewear Retainer. Lightweight, comfortable, adjustable, and waterproof.
When I head out on Lake Ontario, I usually make sure to go with my good friend Captain Aldo Nava, who operates Niagara Fishing Adventure. I thought I fished a lot. Aldo literally fishes every day during the summer months, and on most days he's doing 2 charters, one in the morning, one in the evening. I asked him, you know, do you ever watch like TV or watch movies? He said to me, hey, I get in at 10, 11 o'clock and I gotta hit the sack because I'm up early the next morning. I love fishing with Aldo because he knows exactly where the fish are and he communicates with other boats on the lake. So if they're getting fish and we're not, or they're getting fish on a certain lure, or we're getting fish on a certain lure, we exchange that information and before you know it, everybody's catching fish.
Okay, Tal, I'm gonna put my favorite color in the water.
Is that the Waldo?
The black, pearl, and orange.
Good.
We're gonna put that down on the downrigger.
Are you gonna go down 50, 60?
Yeah, can you turn to the right just a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna attach it to the cannonball. We're using 15-pound cannonballs, Italo, because we don't want the blowback. It's better, you get a more precise depth when you use a heavier cannonball. So these Scotty downriggers are built tough, Italo.
And they're pretty fast, eh?
They're pretty fast. Going down, it's like a free spool, but you can adjust your speed, and coming up, they're really quick. Okay. And we're all set up.
You know, I'm watching this rod tip, and I love the way the fish is head shaking. You can actually see it in the rod tip. And I'm amazed with these rods because they're so long and pretty heavy that you feel everything. It's probably because of the wire. The wire has no stretch, so it really relays all the vibrations and everything up the line, so you actually feel more. I hope this fish stays on, Aldo.
I think it's going to. It's just head shaking. You got to keep that line tight, and then, you know, I think it's bigger than 1.5 pounds, though, even though you can feel everything.
Okay, Coach.
No problem. You ready for the net, Italo?
Not yet.
Okay, you let me know.
Another 10, 15 feet just on top. Probably gonna get a few head
big
shakes.
laker.
Okay, see if you can swing it this way to the left. Wow, another chunky lake trout. Beautiful fish. Okay, Aldo, if you want to hand me the pliers, they're over there. I'm trying to get you to see it. Should just pop out.
Got
There,
it.
perfect. Look at gorgeous fish. Come on in here. Captain.
Nice.
Captain Aldo, look at this. You're doing a great job. Lake trout, Chinooks, we just need some rainbows, browns. What else? We missed coho,
Atlantics.
coho,
Yeah.
Atlantics. Yeah. Okay, let me get it back in the water. Get some water passing over his gills. This guy gave a good fight. I'm amazed at how well these fish fight. You know, that fish is probably about 10, 11 pounds. He's really thick, so he's been feeding well. Okay, I'm just gonna extend him out, and he's probably gonna take off real quick. And down. Where do lake trout go? Down. So it's very important to let them, you know, recover a little bit, because when you're fighting them, that fish was way back. Lake trout has such a big mouth that when you're fighting them, there's so much resistance, kind of like a little pail. So you got to take your time, and eventually when you get it in, you know, when you get it in the net, and we take the hooks out and stuff, it takes more energy out of it. So taking a few seconds for it to revive, get a little bit of oxygen going, like the water through its gills, and then just releasing it. That's the best way to do it. Summertime in the Great Lakes means that the water stratifies. That means that the surface water is warm. It can be as warm as 75 degrees, even approaching 80. And the water down below, let's say 100 feet down or even deeper, is very cold, almost close to freezing. Somewhere in between, there's a mix of the warm water and the cold water. We call that the thermocline. That thermocline sometimes is so thick that you can actually mark it on a good fish finder. But it's that thermocline that's critical for attracting feeding bait fish on the little organisms that are there, and also the larger fish that feed on them. And the old saying is true, find the bait fish, find the salmon and trout. You know, when you're out here on Lake Ontario especially, a good fish finder is so valuable. You could come out and just troll around, but, you know, the chances of getting fish, we're using, you know, the hydrographic chart on one side so we know where we are in relationship to how deep in the contours are. We've got the conical sonar on top, and we've got that Real Vision 3D on the right. Sometimes I get people asking me, what's the best glasses to wear, sunglasses, when you're looking at a fish finder, because they don't see their fish finder. And I tell them, it's not the glasses, it's the actual fish finders. Like right now, I've got my sunglasses on. It's a little bit diffuse light, it's not really strong, but I can see everything clearly. And that's because the Raymarine units, the way they're sealed with this glass, you get a really bright picture. Aldo, guess what? I'm handing the rod to you.
Awesome.
Captain, okay, I'm gonna manage the boat. Hey, looks like a good fish. I don't think it's a laker. Okay, I got the net, Aldo.
Okay.
Hold on.
Hopefully
Hold a little bit to the right.
He might still have a run in him.
Little
Oh,
closer.
boy.
Little closer.
Okay, here he comes.
Little closer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Got him.
You know what? There's a reason you need a long handle. Look at this nice king with that spoon in his mouth. I'm just gonna let him shake a little bit.
Another one, Italo, another one.
Man, Aldo,
Right
okay,
here.
you grab that one.
Okay.
I'll get this rod in.
Okay, I'm gonna pass this one to you. How about that?
Okay. And come on. There's a long line.
This one might be a coho, Italo, or a rainbow.
That would be nice. It's not as big as the one you just landed.
No, but
Okay, Aldo. This is not easy, you know. I'm driving the boat, fighting the fish. Look at that. Hold it nice side. Look at gorgeous king.
Nice fish.
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful king.
Okay, you know what? The
gonna
live
put him
well
in
is
the
right
live
there.
well?
Yep. Okay, I'm trying to keep his head up. He's got tons of energy, Aldo. Look at this.
Nice fish.
Nice fish. Yeah, we want to get that one back in the water, so we're gonna net it and release it real quick. Are you ready, Aldo? Okay,
I'm
here we
ready
go.
when you are. Ready?
Here we go. Here we go.
In the net. There we
Good
go.
job. Good thing we've had some practice before. Good job. Look at how beautiful, clean that fish is. What a nice rainbow. Gorgeous
Beautiful
fish. All right, Aldo, look at that. Hold him up. What a gorgeous fish. Lake Ontario, steelhead, rainbow. Good job. Okay, we're gonna get him back and back to fishing. Lake Ontario is a big lake. There's very little structure. There really is no islands in the open lake to take cover, and the water just gets deeper and deeper. So how do you find the fish, especially salmon and trout that are roaming somewhere out there, anywhere from the surface of the water down to 300 or more feet? You have to use a good quality fish finder. I rely on my Raymarine, and this year I have the privilege of using the Axiom, which is amazing because it actually gives you a 3D image. It's called Real Vision 3D, and it shoots out 360 degrees, 350 feet in all directions of the boat. I saw you even this morning talking to the guy that was going out.
Yep.
He was quizzing you. So obviously he knew you from chartering out here.
Yeah.
So you gave him good tips on where to go and what to use and stuff?
I don't mind helping people. It's nice. I mean, it helps all of us because they'll return the favor, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you know what I got him on top, Aldo?
Yeah.
The nice thing is we don't have any diving devices or dipsies. Okay, I'm gonna try reeling this guy in. You know what, Aldo? I think it's a Chinook.
Yeah, it's a one-year-old Chinook.
Man, good size for 1-year-old. Thank you, Aldo.
You're welcome.
Because we want this guy to grow bigger, and dropping him in from this height is no problem. Ready? Here he goes. Perfect release. Now look at the size of that spoon. That reminds me of like an alewife, Aldo. You can see this thing is really high contrast color. So you got that yellow on the outside, and then those spots, and then that really soft color on the inside. But look at the back. Lots of flash. When you're dealing with big, open, deep water, one of the best ways to get your lures down deep is to use a downrigger. Now today we're using a 12-pound cannonball. Some fishermen use 10, 8, even a 1-pound cannonball if you're using downriggers that are portable and they're just attaching them to their gunwale in smaller aluminum boats. But one alternative that works extremely well if you don't have a downrigger, or even if you do have a downrigger, to get more lines out, whether you want to get them down deep or deep and away from the boat, is to use this little device. It's called a Dipsy diver. It's a small disc, and the nice thing about this Dipsy diver is that it's very portable. You can attach it on any line. When you engage it, if, for example, right now, if we wanted to use this, it's in the engaged position. So if you attach your line to your rod to the front here, so this goes to your rod, and to the back here, the end that's pointing up goes to your bait, it would probably dive in that position. So as soon as you drop this in the water, it would go down. So right now, we have it set in a neutral position. You can see that this is numbered 0 to 3, and there's also a notch at the front of it. Right now it's at 0. So that means that it's going to dive straight down. If you move it left or right, then it's going to plane away and go away from the boat. Salmon and steelhead in their native waters off the west coast of North America in the Pacific Ocean have a mixed diet. They'll feed on bait fish, they'll feed on crustaceans, squids, all kinds of stuff. But in the Great Lakes, there's one primary food, and that is bait fish. Those could be alewife, they could be smelt, or a variety of minnow species that inhabit some of the deeper waters in Lake Ontario. We use our Raymarine fish finders to spot the baitfish schools. And in most cases, we can tell whether the baitfish are deep water baitfish like smelt, because the smelt will be closer to the bottom, or whether they're suspended school of baitfish like alewife that are suspended off the bottom.
Hi, I'm Aldo Nava of Niagara Fishing Adventures. I've been chartering and guiding for up to 20 years on the Niagara River and Lake Ontario. We fish for salmon and trout on Lake Ontario starting in April and go right until October. From October to the following spring in April, we fish steelhead and trout on the lower Niagara River. We can accommodate any size group. We have all the gear, we know where the fish are. So give me a call or check out my website and we'll get you on the water and have a great day.
Traditionally, Great Lake anglers that use downriggers use fluttering spoons. These are spoons that are very light and they track behind the release, whether it's at the cannonball or whether it's up farther, what's called a stacker line or a cheater line. A flutter spoon, because it's very lightweight and thin, really has a lot of action, even with just a little bit of momentum. And also, it doesn't track always straight. Sometimes it goes a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. It's that action that really gets salmon and steelhead to strike. When it comes to fishing the Great Lakes, you know, you really should have specialty rods that are designed to use for the technique that you're using. The most popular technique is downrigging. So this is the first rod that I'm holding up here. This is a high-capacity reel, and it's loaded with monofilament line. This particular one is actually flat, and it's designed to flick off these little fleas that we have in the Great Lakes, especially when the water gets warm. So this particular rod is anywhere from about 9.5 to 11 feet long. Most of them are 10.5. They're two-piece, and they're extremely flexible. So I'm just going to flex this rod, extremely flexible. The other rod and reel outfit is using wire line. This is stainless steel line. It's braided very fine. Now you might want to say, well, why do you want to use wire line? Well, wire line is very thin in diameter, it's strong, and it sinks really well. So if you're using diving devices like Dipsy divers, it works extremely well to get your Dipsy diver down at maximum diving depth with the least amount of line. The last outfit that I have actually is loaded with lead core. So it's a large, high-capacity reel. The lead core has a larger diameter, but it sinks quicker than the stainless steel line, and you don't need a diving device. When you're running these long sinking lines, it takes a while to crank the fish up slowly, especially if it's a larger fish that's fighting hard. So I've actually been reeling this fish in for about 4 or 5 minutes, which is a long time when it comes to fishing. Looks like a nice steelhead, maybe a female. Small head, Aldo. Yep. Beautiful silver fish.
Get the net?
Yep, we're gonna get in the net and we're gonna try to get the hook out and release it right away. So you ready with the net, Aldo?
I'm ready, here it comes.
Okay, nice and gentle, but with, you know, assertiveness. Yep. Assertiveness, is that a good way to explain it? Look it. He's hooked well, so I don't think he should come off.
Italo.
Is it a coho?
It's a coho.
Yes! Man, that fish came out of the water so many times.
Beautiful coho.
That's what I was hoping to have for dinner.
No spots on the tail, little fork with, it looks like a little oil slick.
Beautiful. You know what? This is a take-home fish. That's going to be a really good eating fish. It's going to be on the barbecue.
My favorite.
You doing anything Saturday? You want to come over for dinner?
Sure.
Okay. A fish okay?
Sure.
Okay. Let's get him in the live well.
Canadian Sport Fishing has been brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Blue Cam, a cleaner running engine for a cleaner environment.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna release them like you did yours.
Yeah, the pro at work.
Nice looking laker.
Let's see.
So that was our shallowest line, and we got a laker.
Yeah, you know, up north, that would be
suspended everywhere.
a prized fish. Beautiful colors.
Yep.